Trying to get behind the big sun in my face. There, that might do it. Ask. How often do we use it in questions and speech in our daily lives? Ask and you shall receive. I wish I had asked that question. Why didn't you ever ask me? I could probably think of more. Sure, there are more. If I had done my research, I would have had a list of 5. Or I could ask you. But there's a risk of you not knowing the answer. If I ask the question and you don't know the answer, does that make me look bad? Does that make you look bad? It doesn't matter. Maybe I just won't ask. It's safer, right? Just keep it to yourself. Oh, that was one. Don't ask, don't tell. What's that all about? What about it? It's hiding. Hiding behind not asking the question to not telling the answer. What's that doing for us? Well, we remain in secret. The truth doesn't come out. Who does that benefit? Let's see. No one. Ask and you shall receive. Do we ask? Here's a tough one for you. If you were to ask, are you ready to receive? Let's say your ask, your question, your wish was granted. Are you ready to receive it? Do you even know what you'd do if you received your big question? What if you took out your big secret, the one you've been holding back? You asked that question, and you got a positive response, a response that you weren't expecting, mostly because you haven't asked. You ready for it? What if you practiced asking? You ask the question because then it's out there. Even if you ask yourself. We can start with the hard stuff, who am I? Why do I exist on the planet? Or how about easier stuff? Could I help you with those groceries? Could you help me with my project? Could you give me a hand for 10 minutes? Could you cover my shift? Would you like to be a part of my creation? Hey, I have a question for you I've always wanted to know. But we don't do it. Statistics show, not my statistics, but probably somebody did a study at some point, that 84% of questions are never asked. That means 16% of what we want to know we ask, which does not mean that 16% gets 100% answer rate. But it does mean that a lot of those questions are still inside of us, never seeing the light of day. And what are the benefits of asking? You think, well, why should I bother? Why should I ask? What does it get me? Breaks through that ceiling of connection. Because that ceiling, it's pop. Who could that be up there that I'm not willing to ask? Pop, the teacher. Coach. I don't know, some greater consciousness. Maybe a higher consciousness version of your own self. Oh, slow down there, Tiger. Who am I connecting with? Who am I not connecting with by not asking a question? And I'm taking this from the breadth of questions of, can I help you carry your groceries to the car? All the way to, what career would you have had you had another 10 years to live? If you were 80 years old and you looked back at your life, what is it you would have done differently? What if I'm 20 years old and ask that 80-year-old that question? What if I don't ask the question? At a certain point, that person's no longer going to be there and you can't ask the question, so why not ask now? In fact, if we put asking on a timeline, when is the best time to ask? Should you wait and build up until the moment's right? See where I'm going. It's not a good idea. Now is a good time. What are you going to ask? What are you afraid to ask? What are you afraid to ask your own self? What are you holding back, holding inside, waiting for that perfect moment that, sorry to tell you, might never happen? What is it that asking that question might open up? Is it Pandora's box that you can never close again? What might it be? Is there something out there, some unknown, that is possibly even more exciting, more than you could have expected? You're not going to know unless you ask. So let me ask you a question. What question would you like to ask yourself? That's the hard one. You can come up and ask me later. I'd love to hear it. But then I would like you to ask yourself. You can do it later tonight. Quiet of your own home. Maybe on your bike ride back home tonight. But I'd like you to ask the hard questions. You don't even have to have an answer. But the question's the first step. Because what is that question? You can't know the answer if the question was never asked. That's what I'd like you to think about tonight. What question is it you'd like to ask yourself?